はい、おはようございます。
おはようございます。
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 はい、おはようございます。
おはようございます。
はい。So how have you been, all of you? How was your Tuesday? I hope you all had a good Tuesday, studying away. Hi, please do turn on your videos. Hi. All right. Would anybody like to talk today? Talk about yourself? I would like to hear maybe one or two of you today. Just to get to know all of you. Anybody?
Hi, Victor here.
Yes, Victor-san. Hi.
Hi, good morning. Well, I'm somebody who's interested in the Japanese culture and language. It's quite fascinating, so I thought it best to try and learn it. So one day when I
Yeah.
get there, hopefully I can understand and communicate.
Hi. Okay. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Where in India are you from?
Chennai.
Chennai. Okay. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Anybody else? I'm insisting because this can also be a sort of an ice-breaking thing for you. Because this is just our second class. I'm sure all of us, or most of us, are still pretty shy. So just so I can get more of you to interact in class. So this is a good opportunity to do that, right? To talk about yourself. All right, at your pace then. So we'll continue with where we left off in the last class. So we were doing hiragana. So what was the last row that we did?
To. Ta.
To.
Yeah,
Right.
tachi, ki, te.
Correct, yes. So it was the tha row, the tha line that we did until. So can you all try and give me the sounds from a, e, u, e, o until the tha row? A, e, u, e, o.
मेरा तो
Okay.
हेडफोन खराब हो गया, पता नहीं क्या हो गया है इसको।
Hi. Next line.
मेरा हेडफोन ही नहीं चल रहा। I don't know.
Ka, ki,
Ku,
ku,
ke,
e, ko. Okay. Next.
sa,
Ta,
shi,
ti,
su,
tu,
te,
te,
so.
to. Correct. So here what we'll have to remember is that the E sound in the sa row is she and not si. C is non-existent. The sound C does not exist. Hi, next.
Ta,
Ta,
chi,
chi,
su,
su,
te,
yes,
te,
te, to. Very good. So here again, the E sound is chi. It's a very different sound. There's no ti sound. So in place of ti, you have chi. And again, in place of the tu sound, you have su. Right? Okay. All right. So we'll continue now with the next one. So if you can all look at your the chart that you have in your textbook. What is the next row?
Na.
Na. So this. Hi. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Right. Okay. So we'll continue with this. So you can all open your Kana workbooks if you have them with you. So can you all see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes. Hi. Okay. So now, that's the first stroke. So there were a few rules that we also looked at when it comes to stroke order. How do you write the Kana? So what are they? What are these two things that we looked at?
left to right and then
Yes.
top to bottom.
Top to bottom, right? So that's the rule. So it goes from left to right always, mostly. There's also exceptions, like I told you. And all strokes come from top to bottom. And also, if there are two parts to a kana, it's always the left part that comes first. That's the general rule. And then you get to the right, left to right. All right. So the second stroke in na is like this. So far, if it brings to your mind any other kana that we have already learned, what is it?
I think A, and one more would be the beginnings of
Hi.
Ta.
Ta. Correct, correct. So this. Hi. So yes, it looks something like A, not exactly, but yes. Right? There is a difference, but yes, there is a horizontal line and there's also a vertical stroke. Okay, but A, the third one is like this. Ta, on the other hand, is exactly like this. So it's 1, 2, and then you have a small ko at the bottom. But here in na, you have the third stroke is a small stroke like this to the right bottom. And then you have, oh, I'm sorry. We finished the Ta series, right? I'm sorry about this. Hi. Now we are in na. So, hi. Horizontal, vertical, and then a side stroke. I was wondering it looked different. Okay. So there's a horizontal line, and then there's a vertical line, but you see that the vertical line is not as long as it is for ta. It's still a shorter line. It's almost like a plus, but still inclined. And then a little away from the character, you have this small stroke, and then a loop. Okay, so that is na. So this loop, you see a lot of loops in hiragana. So once again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. No matter what the spacing is, remember that every kana has this box that you have to accommodate them in when you write. So these are imaginary boxes, just so when you write, right? Even in your kana workbooks, you have boxes for convenience. So whatever the kana is, however wide-spaced it is or not, you'll have to try and fit it in that given space that you have. Okay, so this is na. The next is ni. So ni is like this. You have this vertical stroke. This comes in a lot of kana again. And then the second and the third is like a ko again. Hiragana ko. So once more, a vertical line, and then you have this brush stroke, which I've asked you not to pay too much attention to. It's not mandatory you include it. And then there is a small ko. So together, it has two parts to it, but this is one kana, right? Hi. You'll find this vertical stroke comes in a lot of kana. An example will be this one. Can anybody recall what this is?
K.
K, right. K. All right, correct. Okay. Next is na, ni. What is the next sound?
No.
No.
No?
No.
Na, ni.
No.
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 N.
No.
Correct. N. N. Yes. So with n, there's a left stroke like this. And then the right, you'll have to pay attention to. There's a lot of loops here. So in total, there are 2 loops. One big one that cuts across the first stroke, and then there's one at the end. So 1 and 2. This is n. Okay. It's much like a, if you see, right? So a is like this. But n is 1 and there's a big loop and then another tiny loop at the bottom. And that loop at the bottom is kind of important because that will distinguish this kana from another kana. There's another very similar kana where you don't have the loop at the bottom. That's a very different kana. Therefore, it's very important, these small details. Hai.
May.
N.
Like,
The next one is ne, correct? Ne. Okay, so let's look at ne. There's a vertical line. This is a straight line, right? There's no curve, nothing. It's a straight line. And then cutting across it, you have something like a Z that is rounded and there's a loop at the end. So a vertical line, and then there is hi.
I have a question.
I'm sorry?
I have a question.
Yes, yes, please.
The rules say you have to first do left to right. So when you
Yeah.
have this particular letter, you're starting from top to bottom first.
Yes,
So
this is an
how does that-
exception. Correct. I was coming to that. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi. It's top to bottom in this case, but that there still it abides by the rule. It's still top to bottom and not the other way around. And again, you come from the left side and then you drop here. So here again, this loop is important. And here you see that it is not really round like this at the top. It's kind of sharp. It's not pointy, but it's still a sharp kind of a curve. Hi. So that is ne. So please remember the loop here. Hi. No. The last kana is no of this row. So it's a single stroke kana. A loop again. Once more. Yes. Since it's a single stroke kana, it comes down, it's top to bottom, and then it goes from this side to this side, right? No. Hi. So that was na, ni, n, ne, and no. So there's an easy way to sort of remember the order of rows in the kana chart. So it goes like this. It's akasatana, hamayara va. And after va, you have o and n, but you just add that later. So it's akasatana. It's kind of like a song that you sing to remember the order. So after the aro, you have the karo. After the ka, you have the sa, and then the ta, and then na. So a, ka, sa, ta, na. And then you have the next set is ha, ma, ya, ra, wa. So ha, he, hu, he, ho. And then you have ma, ha, ma, ya, ra, wa. So let's say this together a couple of times, just so it helps you remember the order better. Akasatana.
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 Yes, and then Hamayarava.
Hamayarava.
Yes, and then finally, the last two that is sort of left out, poor things, O and In, right? O, In. So you have the last three kana as Va, O, In. Okay. So, right. So once again, Akasatana.
Akasatana.
Hi. Then Hamayarava.
Amayarava.
Right. O, In. Yes, O and Im. There are two, right? O, In. All right. So we finished the first set now. You finished A, Ka, Sa, Ta, and Na. So let's go to the next, beginning with the Ha row. Can you all give me the sounds of the Ha line?
Ha.
Ha,
Ha,
he.
He, he, o, who.
What is the order? It is A, E, U, A, O, right? The R sound, E sound, U sound, A then, and then finally O. So it's ha, he,
He,
who,
he,
who,
He. Ho.
he, ho. All right. I
Ah,
thought I
so,
heard
so.
somebody miss the who, U sound. So that's why I'm repeating. Ha, he, who,
who,
he,
Ho.
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 Right. So now let's look at ha. You have a left vertical stroke and then a horizontal stroke and then a vertical again with a loop.
Okay.
Okay, once again, the left portion first. Don't worry about the brush stroke. Then you have the horizontal and then the third stroke sort of until it finishes, it seems like K. But then you have the loop and that's what makes it ha, right? Hiragana K is like this. But if you have a loop at the end, it becomes ha. All right, ha. While we are at this kana ha, it's a single kana. It's actually a word. There are a lot of these single sound words, single kana words. Just a single sound makes a word. Ha is teeth. You don't have to remember any of this in a hurry, but I'm just giving it to you. Just some information. If you can remember, it's
ha
good.
means tea that we drink.
Oh, teeth.
Teeth,
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Okay,
That you used to bite with. Hi.
okay,
Teeth or tooth.
okay.
Ha. All right. The next kana is he. Okay. This is a single stroke kana. It's one single stroke. So it begins at the left. Once again, let me play this again. Starts here, down, and then. So this is he. So 1, 2, and you'll find that the right line that you bring down is slightly longer than the left stroke, right? This is longer than
Could you
this.
please pronounce this particular kana for?
Yes, this is he.
Okay.
He. Hi. He. I don't really want to write HI because this in English is high, which is not how this is pronounced. So what you all can do is, since it's like that in English, right? You can also, based on what I say, you can also make a note of the sounds next to the kana in your kana chart, in your textbook, in your mother tongue. That will be a good guide for you, so you don't make a mistake. It's he, the sound is he. So whatever is your mother tongue, you can use that to make a note of the sound, because English is confusing. He. All right. The next is who. Who. So this is a bit of a peculiar pronunciation, right? I told you it's somewhere in between who and foo. We definitely don't say foo. It's all right if we initially if we practice saying who. But when you listen to a Japanese say it, you'll find that it's more nuanced than that. It's who. You sort of blow out through your mouth. There's some air. So who has 4 parts, 4 small parts. There's a tiny stroke on top like this with the brush stroke. And then comes the body below it. We can think of this as a body because it is centered. To the left of it, there's a stroke, and to the right of it, there's another tiny stroke. This is who. Who. Once again, the top stroke first, that's the order, and then the body. And then you sort of go left and right. So the order is left, and then right. Hai. Fu. Fuji. Fuji-san. The Fu in Mount Fuji. Hai. Ha, hi, hu. Next is he. He is a single stroke kana. He is single stroke. It's like ku, I would say. It's not at all the same, but he. Okay, it's a single stroke. It extends a little longer on the right side. And a little bit of good news is it's the same kana. It's exactly the same for katakana he also. And when you come to it, you'll know.
So katakana he and hiragana he, they are same?
They are the same.
Okay.
Yes. Just this kana. Hai.
Okay.
Hai. Finally,
And
ho.
one other question I have is
Yes.
You said Fuji-san. So even though the English writer is F-U-J-I, the Japanese
Yes.
pronounce it as Fuji-san.
Yes, the pronunciation, like I said, it's not exactly fu. In English, you say fu because it's out of convenience. The way Japanese is translated is this particular kana, fu, is translated as fu. Even when you type this out in Word document or anything, you'll use the alphabets fu to type this. But the actual pronunciation, the way the Japanese pronounce it, is somewhere between fu and hu. So it sounds more like fu.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. So although a foreigner will say Fuji-san, Fuji, very clearly, Fuji. If you listen to a Japanese say the name, it will be Fuji. Fuji. There's a slight difference.
Thank you.
Hi. So the last kana in this row is a ho. This is very similar to ha, right? What is the difference? You have a left stroke like this, and then second, third, and fourth. So what is the difference between ha in the same line, in the same row?
One extra
And
Two line.
yes, yes, that's correct, right? There's one extra stroke, and that is this stop stroke over here. Okay, so that makes the difference. So ha is just like this. Okay, here it is important to note that you have this horizontal stroke. This vertical stroke can touch the horizontal stroke. It's all right. But what it shouldn't do is go over it, cross it. That is wrong. Okay, you can make it touch, that's fine. Or you can start from somewhere a little below that line. That is also okay. But this crossing is wrong. Hai, ho. So let me write ho again here on the left corner.
So this upper line, this upper stroke should be smaller than this second one?
It is not really, it doesn't make a lot of difference.
Okay.
Hi, it's all right. It can be the same size.
Okay.
It's okay. Hi. Ho. Hi. So that's ha, he, hu, he, and ho. So what is the next?
Ma,
Right.
mi.
Ma. Yes, ma, mi, mu, me, and mo.
Mo.
Let's look at ma. Hi. The sounds in this row are pretty straightforward. There's no confusion, I hope. So here, ma is 1, 2, and 3. Here you can visibly note that the first horizontal line is slightly longer than the second. So you can also follow that when you practice. So the previous kana that we saw, ho. So it might look similar, ho and ma, but the left stroke is absent in ma. The left vertical stroke is absent. And also here, this vertical line does cross the top horizontal line. That's what makes this ma. So that is important. It has to cross on the top. On the other hand, with ho, I told you that it must not go above that, right? It can ever so slightly touch the top line, it's fine, or you can just draw it from a little below the line. But with ma, it has to cross the top line. Ma. Next is mi. Mi. This is the first stroke. This is like the number 4 together. So the first stroke is a loop and comes like that. And then you have a small line, a small stroke cutting across. So it looks like 4. But remember, every detail is important. You can't afford to miss out this, or the loop, or the stroke. It comes like a Z again, and then, so that's me. So once again, and the second stroke, me. All right. The word for years in Japanese, years, right? Year is mimi. It's a double kana word, but it's the same kana. Mimi. Mimi is years. The organ, years. Hi. Just again, just a little bit to break the monotony. You can remember these words because they are simple. M. The next kana is M. So with M, again, there's a loop. You have a horizontal line. You have to pay attention to this vertical stroke. There's a loop and then there's a lot of curving. So you drop from bottom, loop, and then bring it up. Okay, there's a horizontal line first, and then you drop from the top to bottom. I'm sorry. A loop, and then you bring it up like that. So loop, and then you bring it up. This is important. You have to bring it a little way up. So if you stopped it like this, it's not really correct. You'll have to bring it up properly. That's M. Once again, horizontal line and then vertical with a loop, and then you bring it up. M. All right. What is the next? Hi.
Sorry, I have
Yes.
a question. In the
Yes.
textbook that we've been given, Mu has
Yeah.
one more curve on the next to where you bring it up, but you have not written the curve. Like a small eyebrow
Oh,
above
yes,
where,
yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I completely. Right, you're right. There is a tiny stroke on the top. You're right. That's the third stroke. You have a horizontal line and then drop, bring it up, and then there is a tiny stroke on the top. Hi. Let me clear this. Okay, doesn't matter. So remember, it's a horizontal line, and then you bring it down, up, and then there is a tiny stroke on the top. Hi. M. So I'll stay here for a couple of minutes so you can make that small correction. Register that there is a tiny stroke on the top. Hi. The next is me. Me is much like the other kana that we did earlier. Let me say. Hi. So you have a left stroke, and then the right stroke comes like a loop and stops without a loop at the end. So what is this similar to?
No.
No.
N. N, right. N-U, right? The U sound. N.
No.
In the na row, you have the U sound, which is N. With the loop, it is N. Okay? Without the loop, everything else is exactly the same. Without the loop, it is me.
Me.
Right, me. So once more, you have a left stroke and then the right. Me. Me also means something, just this one kana. It means eyes. Me is eyes. So what is the last kana in this row? Ma, mi, m, me, and
Mo.
mo. Right, mo. Mo, there's a bit of a exception here. It's the top to bottom that comes first again. Usually we do the horizontal first, right? So here it's the top to bottom. And then you have the two horizontal lines, 1 and 2. So if you see the two horizontal lines are sort of drawn like a top one, and then it's like that. That is also fine. But if you also just want to leave them as two horizontal lines like that without any curve, that is also all right. It's not too important. But when you practice it, the stroke order is that you do the top to bottom first. This alone looks a lot like the kana she, okay, but you see that mo is a lot more narrower. She is a little more wider. And then you do the horizontal lines. This is mo. While you're at mo, you can also maybe quickly recall what ma looks like. What ma is like, if you can quickly take a look. I'll draw ma here because it's not exactly the same. It's 1, 2. Here you have the word horizontal strokes coming first. And then you drop and then loop. That is ma. With mo, there is no loop, nothing. But you have to bring it up properly. Hi, ma, mi, m, me, and mo. All right, what is next? Remember the song? Ha, ma,
Ya.
ha, ma, ya.
Yeah.
Correct, ya. So how many sounds do you have in this particular row?
3.
3
Ya, you,
sounds.
yo.
Correct. There are only 3 sounds in this. 2 are absent, they don't exist. There's ya, you, and
Yo.
yo. So let's look at ya first. Hi. Left to right with a curve. That's ya. And then a tiny stroke. This is also a bit of a mix of order. It's different. You have the left to right stroke first, and then you have the tiny stroke. Remember that. And then you bring down the vertical line. Okay. So once more. And then the small stroke, and then the vertical line. So it's not straight at all. It's sort of in this angle. In this angle it is. However you see it. I'm sure we'll all look at everything differently. Hi, ya. You. Next is you. So you goes like this. And then there's a vertical line cutting across this whole thing. That's you. So once more. And down. You. This comes here. Some people also write it like this. So this is sort of joined. I think it's all handwriting. It doesn't matter really.
Both are correct.
They are right, but the reason I'm telling you this is because you might run into somebody's writing and it might look like this, and I don't want you to wonder why. But when you practice, of course, it's always good to practice the way it's there in your workbook. When you practice, always go with what you see, what is there in your textbook and workbook. What I'm giving you here is just something that you might come across.
Okay.
Hi. You. I hope you're all using the dotted lines first. I mean, it's good if you can, if you do. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're using a plain sheet of paper also to practice. All right, next is yo. So with yo, you have the horizontal, the small, tiny horizontal stroke. And then on the left side of it, not on the right side, on the left side of it. So you're going in reverse almost. This top to bottom with the loop. So you're doing the right side of the kana first and then doing the left side, right? So, hi, once more. Horizontal line, and then to the left of it, there's a vertical. That is yo. So ya, you, and yo. So in today's class, we'll be looking at ya, you, and yo a little bit more. So let me just write ya, you, and yo again. I'd like you all to also recall along with me. Ya. Okay. You. And yo.
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 Ya, you, yo.
Yo.
My writing is a bit trembly, but that's how it looks like. Hi. Okay. We'll come to that later. Just letting you know. What is the next row after the ya? Ha, ma, ya.
Ra.
Ra. Hi. Ra. So what are the sounds in the ra line? Ra,
Re. Ro. Re. Ro.
re, and ro. Hi. Okay. Very good. So let's look at ra first. There's a tiny stroke and then the body. The stroke is not to the side, if you see. It's almost to the top of the mane. Right? It's a lot like another kana, I'm going to give you all a few seconds to tell me what you think this looks like. What other kana that we have already done? Hi?
Chi.
Chi. Correct. If you said chi, yes, that's right. Hi. Chi, right? This portion of it looks like the number 5. That's exactly like what you see in Ra. But of course, there's a difference. So Ra, once again, the tiny stroke appears in Ra on the top, and then part of the number 5. It's not complete. Ra. Okay. Next is Ri. You have the left stroke first, and then the right stroke. So this looks like, I don't know if it looks like, yeah, something like E, but it's definitely different, right? This is it's more straighter, and the distance between the two strokes are less, so it's more narrow. And the other difference is? High, correct. So the second stroke is longer than the first, very obvious difference. This again is a brush stroke, although it's a bit of a long stroke. It's a brush stroke, you don't have to worry about it. It's not important that you include it. So Ri is like that. So this is also a curve. It's not a straight line. So it's slightly curved. And then you have the longer stroke, which is also curved. It's not straight. If you're all using your Kana workbooks, on the right page, right-hand side, you will have the Katakana Ri. And if you see, the stroke is the same, but the way it's written is different. It's more straighter. Katakana Ri, right? Like I said, katakana is very sharp and harsh. There's no curves like you see in hiragana. This is Ri. Next is Ru. So Ru is a single single stroke kana. So it looks like the number 3 with a loop at the bottom. And the loop once again is very important because you have another kana without the loop. And that's a different sound. Okay. So this is Ru. Ru. So it comes kind of like a Z, but then goes like that. And the loop ends here. It doesn't cut, right? It doesn't cut through. Ru. The next is Re. So if you look at Re, it's a lot like another kana that we have done. Straight line. And you have this Z kind of a stroke sort of wrapped around that stick like vertical line. What is the difference? What is the other kana that we did that is very similar? Ne. Very good. Ne. So ne is like that again. But the difference is here, it's sort of, there's a curve inwards and there is a loop with ne, right? With re, you can think of it as it's curved outwards like that. It's not inward like that. So re is, so far it's the same, but here it's more sharper and it goes like this. So here the stroke is like this, here it's like this. So these similar kana can also be confusing. You might confuse the two. But if you do end up confusing the two in a word, then it will not make sense. So it's very important to make a note of these kana and make sure you remember that is ne and this is re. With the loop, without loop. Re, all right. The next one, the last, what is the last sound in this line?
Ro.
Ro. Ro.
Ro.
Ra, ri, ru, re, and ro. So ro is like ru, but without the loop at the end. It stops there without the loop. So that's ro. Ro. So this is ru with the loop. This is ro without the loop. Hi. Now we are left with 3 kana. What are they?
Va.
Va,
O.
o, and
Mm.
right.
Va.
Va,
O.
o,
Go.
In.
All right. So let's look at va. Now va is also, let me just finish va, o in and come back to those slides. You have a straight line in va. And then you have, so you have ne that comes like this. Re, which we just saw recently, it comes like this. And va is much like ne. It's not exactly like ne, but you see how round it is. Ne is not so round. It's still a bit sharp over here. And also it has a loop at the end, right? Ne. Let me write the sound so you can identify it. Va is just no loop and it's very round. Va. Va. Okay, so these are 3 kana that are very similar to one another, but there is a difference. The next kana is O. Now the pronunciation of this kana, I told you in your textbook, it is O without the W, and I asked you to include the O. I asked you all to include the O initially because I wanted you to not get confused with the R, E, U, A, O. You already have a O. So I don't want you all to wonder what is another O doing there. You can only have 1 kana per sound, right? Otherwise it's confusing. That's why I'm telling you all to remember this kana as wo. Include the W sound for now. Later on, when we see this being used in grammar, in sentences, the way this particular kana functions will be very different. And its pronunciation, the sound will also change slightly. So when we come to it, I'll tell you about it. But now to avoid confusion, I would like you all to remember this as the sound wo. Don't think too much about it. It's just different from R, E, U, A, O. It's different from that O. That's all I want you to understand. So here this kana, let's look at how you write it. You have a horizontal line first. And then from the top, you have 2 portions. So let's look at the top portion first. Okay. It's kind of like the hiragana ku, but it's a little bit more, it's not a straight line. It's kind of like a waterfall. Anyway, the bottom portion of this kana is like this. So it's all interconnected kind of. From the horizontal, you have something, and from that, you have something. So once more, horizontal line, and then you have the top vertical line, and from that, you have the second. Okay, so it's 1, 2. So this is kind of, you bring it like this, and then just this part is like a half of chi. Chi is like this, right? All the way. You stop it somewhere here, then you have the top part of that. Something like that. And then there's a C at the end. So once again, this is only for your information. I'd like you all to practice this kana this way as is given in your workbooks. But you will also find that this is written slightly differently. 1, 2. So you see how this stroke is made straight just for convenience of writing. And then this. Now you will find this, don't worry about this too much. It very much does look like the O. You can still identify it. I'm just telling you that it's there, it exists. You will find it. But printed materials in your textbooks and everywhere else, formally, it will be this main writing. All right. The last kana. What is the last kana of your basic sounds?
Un.
Correct.
Mm.
Okay. So, is like a H.
H.
Right. Yes. It's like H. But what you have to remember is this part really extends upwards like this. You can't stop it here. You have to bring it up like that. So cursive. So H. We don't stop it here. Bring it up nicely. Right? The height is almost the same as this. Height. That's the 46th. So this doesn't fall under the vowel category. It is not an R sound or an E sound or a U sound or a A sound or a O sound. It's apart. It can come in between, in the middle of a word. It can come at the end of the word. So how do you pronounce this sound? There are different kinds of pronunciations. In the word hand, they have the N sound, hand, ind, right? In sound. So in some words, when you have the in appear in Japanese words, you have the in pronunciation. I'm just talking about the pronunciation when it appears in Japanese words. Okay. In the word remember, I think I gave you this example in the last class. In the word remember, it is right? Sometimes this in can also take the sound. That happens when what comes after it is the sound b or p, when your lips close, when your lips come together. Before that, if you have this it becomes because it's easier to pronounce the next word, so with your lips already closed. Right? For example, the word for pencil in Japanese is N-P. Now, how can you divide this? How many sounds are there? This is a Japanese word. How many sounds are there?
3. There's 3 syllables.
Are there 3 syllables? How many syllables are there?
4.
4 syllables. How many of you agree it's 4 syllables? We all know the basic sounds by now, right? There's A, there is the P we haven't done yet, so I understand if there's a confusion. And we know there is S. There's A, there's there is P, and there is S. I'm giving you this example because here you find the sound, this kana, come after P. When you pronounce P, your lips close. So therefore you close it earlier and pronounce this as It's natural. Even without explanation, you'll find that that's the tendency. You will already close your lips. So it's more M-pitsu than it is N-pitsu. Ease of pronunciation, nothing else. It's not a hard and fast rule that you have to pronounce it this way. It just comes. The more you're exposed to the language, you'll understand. It will come automatically. But right
What
now,
does
I'm
it
just giving
mean?
N-pitsu means pencil. Pencil. Okay. And thirdly, it can also have the ing sound, the ng sound, right? The nasal sound. This is very nasal. So is actually a very nasal sound. It's a very soft nasal sound. It's definitely not a hard sound. It's very soft. We'll see all of this when we start looking at words. So let me just go back a little bit to explain how the ra sounds are pronounced by the Japanese. Can you all give me the ra row, the sounds in the ra row once again? Everybody together.
Ra.
Ra,
Ra,
ri,
Ru.
ru,
Re.
ro. Okay. Right. when you pronounce the R sound, the Ra sound, what happens is this
Ra.
is what happens to the tongue in your mouth. I don't want you to worry too much about this,
Ra.
but this is just
Ra.
explanation. Hi,
Ra.
that's right. So what happens is your tongue doesn't sharply touch the roof of your mouth. It sort of flicks like that. And that's what brings out that R, especially the American R, when they roll their R's, R. But when you say La, when you try and pronounce the La, you'll find that the tip of the tongue will touch the roof of the mouth very sharply, La, in one place. Okay, so what happens is when you do that, when you pronounce the La sound, like you can see in the image, the air flow is through the sides of the mouth. Okay, but the Japanese pronunciation of Ra, Ri, Ru, Re, Ro is what is portrayed here. It's somewhere in between the Ra that you see and the La that you see. It's in between. It's not proper Ra, Ra. They can't roll. And they can't say La either. So it's a sort of a combination, somewhere in between. Okay, so the air escapes through the sides of their mouth as well as through the top part. Okay, so it's between Ra and La. That is why for them, when they, if you see in the basic sounds, you don't have a La sound at all. There's no La sound in Japanese. When they listen to a La sound, they associate that closely to the Ra sounds. That's why in foreign languages, wherever there's a La, Li, Lu, Le, Lo sound, they perceive that as Ra, Ri, Ru, Re, Ro. Okay, so you'll find that especially when you look at borrowed words, it comes from foreign language, right? You use katakana to write these words, I was telling you in the last class. So a lot of borrowed words, a lot of foreign words have the La sound. So wherever there is that, they'll replace, rather than replace, they associate that to the La sound best. It's the closest that they know. So you will find that the La sounds all become R in the Japanese word. Once again, this you will see when you start looking at words. Okay. So any questions so far? Any doubts in pronunciation, in anything? So we've looked at all the basic sounds, right? So
They
if you-
they don't say love, so they say Rav.
yes, that's true. Yes.
Okay.
They don't say, there's no La. And also another thing is the Va. Although you have a Va, all the Va sounds in foreign words are replaced with Ba.
Ba.
So, Ba, right. Va becomes Ba. So, love is actually a fantastic example because it's got both, right? La, iv. So, it becomes Rabu.
Okay.
Of course, the Japanese have their own word for love, but if they were to try and pronounce love from English, it will be Rabu.
Rav.
Rabu.
Okay.
All right. So these are your 46 sounds, your basic, but that's not all, right? If you look at the Kana chart in your textbook on page number 2, I think it is, that's hiragana. And of course, the next page you have katakana also. You see the basic 46 and below it you have some more sounds. And on the next page, you also have some more, right? So in our mother tongues, we have a lot of sounds that you'll find missing in the basic 46. For example, you have sounds like G, right? G is very important. B. What else? J. The.
So birthday. How would they pronounce birthday?
Birthday is not taken from English. There is an original Japanese word for it.
Okay.
Well, we haven't come to words yet. When we do, I'll tell you. Not all words are borrowed. A
Okay.
lot of words are original Japanese. So you will not have to worry about how is this English word pronounced in Japanese.
Okay.
It's only when it comes to the borrowed words that they don't have in their own vocabulary that you'll find all of this. We'll look at that in the next class. Hi. I
Ma'am,
hope
in
it.
hiragana, is re written any other way?
I'm sorry?
Re.
Re, right?
Written any other way? When I checked in Google, that time I saw a different way to write.
Okay, maybe it could be like this.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's nothing but there's no split. So this is connected and it becomes like that. There are a couple of fonts. And you'll find different fonts, like just like how I told you, ki, you will find this is how we've practiced it, but you'll find it to be this. And sa, we practiced it this way, but you'll find that it is this. We'll see all of that. When I show you Word documents, we'll start typing also very soon. I'll tell you how to type in Japanese. So you'll see the difference between what is written, how a kana is written, and how it is typed. It's just the printed version. But like I said, we'll stick to the method, the way that is given in your kana workbooks. All right? You might come across other ways of writing a kana, but when you write it, make an effort to stick to what you learn. That way, there's no confusion. Hi. All right. So as I was saying, so you have sounds like ga, ba, and all of that, right? Ja and everything. So you don't see them in the basic sounds, but these sounds do exist in the Japanese language. And that's what we are going to be seeing today. So there are modified sounds, modified characters. They're called modified because you don't write them differently. From the existing 46 sounds, you make a change here and there to derive new characters and give them different sounds. So there are two ways in which you can do them. One is what you see in the first point over here. You use this. It's a double dash, for lack of a better way to translate the word. It's literally a double dash, right? So I'm going to use the word double dash. In Japanese, there is a word, it's called a dakten, but I'm not going to keep using it because it can confuse you. So I'll call it double dash. And then you have a circle. So you add either a double dash or a circle to a specific kana that we have already learned. We've learned akasatana, hamayara, all of those rows of kana. So to those existing kana, you either add a double dash or a circle. Not all of them, some of them I'll tell you. And then that produces new sounds. That's one way. The other thing is what you see in the second point, you create variants once again by adding these three characters. Can you all identify what these three kana are?
Yeah.
Yeah, you,
Yeah.
yo.
You and yo. So once again, to some of the existing 46 characters, you add ya, you, yo in a slightly different way to create new sounds again. So these are the two things. Okay, so one is you use these special characters double dash or circle to produce new sounds. The second is you add the kana, ya, you, and yo to produce new sounds. They're also called contracted sounds. I'll explain why they are called contracted. It'll become obvious when you see. All right, so shall we proceed? So I'm going to share a Word document now. Hi. Yeah. So this is the first type of modified sounds. All right. So if you look at the ka series in your textbook, you have the ka series, right? Akasatana. The ka row series, the line, can be converted to give the ga sounds. Ga is a voiced sound. You have voiceless sounds and voiced sounds. That is, the difference is, what's important to know is, when you say ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, they are not voiced, they're soft. But when you say ga, there's a bit of, you involve the body, which means that there's a bit of vibration in your throat when you pronounce these sounds. That is what is meant by voiced sounds. All right. So, to ka, all right. If you add the double dash, you see the difference between these two? What is the difference between the top kana and the bottom kana?
Double dash.
Double dash.
Double dash.
Yes.
Double dots.
Yes, there is a double dash, right? We call it double dash. So that gives a new sound. So from ka, that becomes ga. Similarly, to ki. Now, this is what I was telling you about. This is not how we learned to write ki, right? There is a gap. When we practice, I told you that you're supposed to give a gap. There are actually 4 strokes, right? The horizontal, the second horizontal, the vertical passing through it, and then you have a bottom stroke separate. But here you see it's attached, it's just a font. Although
So
you
this
might
is
see it a
wrong.
lot.
This is the wrong way to write this key, or
When
it's
you write,
acceptable.
when you write it, nobody generally writes it this way. It's just a font. It's what you'll find in printed material.
Okay.
Hi. So let's just say this is not the right way to practice. Hi. So ki becomes gi with the double dash. So what does k become?
Gu.
G. Okay. What does k become?
Ge.
Ge. Ge. All right. Now ko becomes
Go.
Go.
go. That's the first row that you change from voiceless to voiced.
So these
Okay.
are known as contracted sounds.
These are not contracted sounds. These are just voiced sounds.
Okay.
Hi. These are just different sounds, more sounds to what is already there. From the basic, you derive more sounds. Hi. Those are actually the double dash. It's in Japanese, it's called dakten, and actually means voiced mark, voiced marker. They mark that it's voiced. Okay, the next row that you can change from voiceless to voice to give new sounds is the sa line. Now, can I have all of you once again give me the sounds of the sa row?
Sa,
Sa.
Sa,
su,
so,
ke, so.
So.
I think I heard somebody say si. So once again, let's correct that. What is it?
Chi.
Si. She, right? It's like,
She.
yes, it's she. Okay, it is she. She. She is a doctor. She. Okay, that is the sound. All right. Sa, she. Very important. Sa, she, se, se, so. Now this, the voiced sound is za, the z sound.
Mhm.
The sa becomes z. That's the voiced
Za.
sound. So if you say za, you'll find there's vibration in your throat if you feel it. So sa becomes za. Okay. So she is already a different sound. So what it becomes is also different. There is no z sound. There is no c sound. And therefore, there's no z. What she becomes is g.
G.
G. She becomes g. All right. What does s become?
Z.
Z. S is normal. So s becomes z. Just like how sa becomes za, s becomes z. The exception with g is because it's she. That itself is a different sound. Now, what does say become?
Z.
Ze. Very good. And so is
Zo.
zo. All right, I hope this is clear. She is a different sound. You do not have a C sound in Japanese, right? Therefore, she becomes the voiced sound for she is G. G. All right, so therefore you also won't have Z. No, doesn't exist. So once again, I would like you to tell me what sa, she, s, se, so becomes with the double
Za,
dash.
Sa,
Hi.
Ji,
Ji,
Zu,
Ze,
Te,
Zo.
Ze,
Da, ji,
Je,
ju,
Jo.
je, jo.
This is only G. The rest is the Z. Okay. So it's not J, Jo. Those sounds don't exist for now. We'll look at that later. It's Za, Ji, Z, Ze, Zo. So after G, you'll have to come back to Z. I told you again, this is only the exception. Right? Sa becomes Z. S becomes Z. Se is Ze. And
Ze.
so is Zo.
Zo.
Yes. All right. Now the next Taro. Now I would like you all to give me the sounds again of the Taro.
Ta,
Ta,
chi,
Ta,
Chi,
Su,
su,
Te,
te,
Se,
to.
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 Very good. Right. So Ta becomes Da. The voiced sound is Da. Ta is Da with the double dash. Okay. So Ta with the double dash becomes Da. Pronunciation. Okay. Now Chi with the double dash, you can see have struck it because technically the sound is G.
G.
But that will make it two characters with the same sound G, right? This is also G, and then you'll have another one. So you will find that this character Chi with the double dash that you see here is never used. So you can just omit that from your learning. You can struck it out. There's only one G, which is the she becoming G. The sa line. All right. Now, what is after chi? What is this character that looks like a wave?
Su.
Yes, su. I gave you a hint. Su. Right? It is TSU. Su. Now, that with a double dash, you make both the sounds voice. So it's z, d, z, u. It's a bit difficult to pronounce, right? Z.
Zu.
There's no silent characters as far as Japanese is concerned. If it's there, you pronounce it. Hi, z, z, d, z, u. So s becomes z. So can I have everybody say s, s, s?
Zu,
Listen once again.
zu.
S as in tsunami. S. Okay. Now the voiced z.
Zu.
Right. Z. Okay. Now te becomes de.
De.
De. All right. Te becomes de. And to is do. To is do. All right. So once again, can you all give me the voiced da line?
Da,
With the double dash. Hi.
Ji,
Da.
Ji,
G. Okay.
Zi,
Z,
Z.
De,
do.
And do. Hi. Da. G. Z. De. And
Do.
okay. All right. Now
I
finally,
have this confusion with this Z. Could you please explain again? This
the G
why
in
two
this
Z?
line. In
This
the
chi also
daji,
becomes ji, and then this chi also becomes ji. I mean, why this two alphabets? I mean, two sounds.
because of the way the original sound is, you see that this character, let me erase all of it. So, hi. Just 1 second. Hi. So you'll find that this character is pronounced she.
Hmm.
All right. And in the Ta series, this character is pronounced chi. The voiced sounds for both chi and she can only be ji.
Ji.
Yes. So with the double dash, she with the double dash also becomes G. Chi with the double dash is also G. But like I said, you can only have one character with one sound. Therefore, the chi with the double dash does not exist. You will never find that being used in Japanese.
Okay.
So you can as good as ignore it.
Okay.
Hi. So there's only one character that's pronounced G. How do you write it? Can you all tell me? First you write. How do you write this?
She with the double dash.
Yes, you write the
She and then
character
double
she.
dash.
Very good. So you write she first and then there's a double dash.
Double dash.
Hi. All right. Now finally, we have the ha line. So you've gone from ka and then we looked at sa and you looked at ta. We've skipped a lot of lines, right? A lot of rows. After ta comes na. Okay. We've skipped that because they're already voiced. Na, ni, ne, no. So there's already vibration when you pronounce these sounds. They're already voiced. You can't voice them further. So you're left with ha. So that's the last. So ha, he, hu, he, ho. Okay? Ha, he, hu, he, ho. So this is a sort of a exception because this particular row of sounds can be changed in two ways. Let's look at the first one now. When these characters, ha, he, hu, he, ho, that you see here, get the double dash, they give the ba sounds. So ha with a double dash becomes
Ba.
ba. He with a double dash is
B.
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 Now, who, I understand, I told you it's somewhere between who and who. I told you there's a bit more nuance to the sound. But with the double dash, it's a straightforward b.
Boo.
All right, there's no confusion there. It's b. What does he become?
Be.
Be. And finally, ho is bo.
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 Hi. But the same sounds, ha, he, hu, he, ho, can also be changed in a different way, which is what you see over here. And here you notice another character. It's not a double dash, but what is it that you use? A circle on top. Okay, this is called a han dakten, which is translates to half voiced, but it's actually not voiced. The pa sound is not voiced. It's just another sound. You have additional pa, pi, pu, pe, po sounds. So to get that, you take the ha, hi, hu, he, ho line and add the circle to produce pa, pi, pu, pe, po. All right. So ha with a circle, what is the sound that you get? Ha with a circle.
Pa.
Pa.
Very good. Ha, sorry, he with a circle?
P.
P. Very good.
P.
What is hu with a circle?
Pu.
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 He with a circle?
Pe.
Pe. Pe.
Pe.
Right.
Pe.
Ho with a circle?
Po.
Po.
Ho. All right. So that's how it is. So this particular row of sounds, ha, he, hu, he, ho, can be modified in two ways with two characters. One with the double dash, right? H with the double dash gives you ba sounds. And H with a circle gives you pa sounds. All right. So yes. So this is only for the Ha series. So automatically when you look at a kana that's got a circle on the top, you understand that it is from the Ha line. It can't be from any other line. Right, because that's the only one that takes the circle to give the pa sounds. All right. Any questions so far? I understand it might be a bit, since we are still learning the kana, you also have to figure out other things while also struggling to recognize the kana that we've barely practiced. So I understand mistake. You can't look at the screen and confidently read all of them, right? It takes a while for you to register this is what this is. But that's why I try and write in English for now. So this is just for your understanding. If you understand this, then slowly you can practice and they'll be doing all of this in words. For example, earlier I told you about the word for pencil. What is the word for pencil?
Espin,
Enpitsu.
espin, es,
Enpitsu. Right.
Enpitsu.
Enpitsu. Right. I'm going to write that in English again.
Enpitsu.
You will not find me use
Enpitsu.
English a lot in class. If there's a Japanese word, I will write it in Japanese. But I'll follow that from our 4th class. I'll give a bit of a leeway. A, in, P, and S. Since we have learned
Enpitsu.
this modified sound, you can
Enpitsu.
also. Hi. Now can you all
Enpitsu.
scramble around for the kana? You can look and write, no problem. But I would like you all to write this particular word on your own.
Is it like this? Can you see my screen? No.
I can't see the screen, but once everybody is finished writing, I will also write it so you can confirm if you've written it correctly or not.
Enpitsu.
NPits. I'm just going to give you a few seconds and then I will type it or I'll just write it. So you can all check to see that you've gotten it right. Hi,いいですか? Is that okay? All right. I'm going to type it now. A. In. Now P. How do I write P? It's easy to type P, but how do you write P? Can you all tell me?
We
P.
write he, then circle.
Fantastic. Yes. He, you have he, and then you just need to have a double dash. Let me just write this because it's giving some. A, in. Now this is he.
P.
Now the per sound comes from the ha sound, right? So he with
Dot.
the circle is
Okay.
P. And then you have the
M.
tsu.
Pitsu.
Yes, empitsu. So when you say it together, saying enpitsu takes more of an effort than saying empitsu. It's easier to just say here. You'll find that. Oh, some of you have sent it in chat. That's great. Yes, I didn't realize. Hi, yes, Pranav-san. Leo-san? Is it Leo-san? Is it okay if I address you as
Yes.
Leo-san? Hi, okay. Good. That's good, seeing as we haven't done typing yet. All right.
After
So that's
P, what sound do we have? After P, which is
after
this
P
alphabet?
you have ts. You have the
Su,
sound
actually.
ts. T-S-U,
Okay,
right?
okay,
Ts.
okay.
So it's back to ta, chi, ts, teto, that ts. Hi. Now we'll go from the first type of the modified to the next kind. What did I tell you about the second kind? So in the first kind, you saw this is your kana chart, right? So let me just tell you. So in the first type of modified sounds, you take the ka series, the sa series, the tha, and the ha, right? Ka, can be changed in one way, sa can be changed in one way, ta series can be changed in one way, but ha can be changed in two ways. So you have 5 new rows of sounds. Ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Za, ji, z, ze, zo. Da, ji, z, de, do. And ha becomes ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And also pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Right? So along with this, I will erase this to tell you there's another way to get new sounds. And that is by using the kana ya, you, yo. So in the ya line, you have 3 kana, ya, you, and yo. So in the kana chart, can you all tell me all the E sounds? All of these sounds are from the basic vowels a, e, u, a, o, right? So what are the E sounds?
E, ki, shi, chi, mi, ki, mi.
Yes, yes. So this is the E sound. Ki is E sound. Chi, she is E. Chi, ni, he,
Ni,
me,
Ri,
ri.
mi,
They're all E sounds. So this whole row. Okay. So to all of these kana, to the E sounds, ki, she, chi, ni, he, me, ni. If you add ya, you, yo in a particular way, you will get new sounds. So let's look at an example. So look at this. You have ki. Okay, please identify this as ki, although it's different to what we have learned. It looks different to what we have studied. This is ki. That's the first E sound kana. And to this I add ya. All right. So how many sounds is that? Ki, ya. How many sounds is that?
2.
2 sounds. Okay. But what is the difference between this and what I have typed down here? What
There
is
is
the
just
visible
one sound.
difference? But visibly, how is it different from the previous one? What can you notice? A small difference.
That is ki, ya, and it's kya.
The ya is smaller, I guess.
Yes.
Little bit smaller.
Yes, very good. So the ya is slightly smaller. Maybe I will change it to a little more smaller just so it's very clear. So you can see that the ya is smaller in size to the ya over here. So what happens is when the ya is smaller in size, there's a contraction in sound. One vowel gets eliminated. So in ki ya, the E, the I gets eliminated. You don't pronounce the E properly. So you contract the sound and say kya to give one sound. So ki and ya is 2 sounds. But ki with a small ya is treated like a single sound. There's a contraction, right? And you pronounce it as kya, single sound. So the important thing here is that the ya is written in small size. Okay, although by sound it is contracted. Yes, it is contracted. When you pronounce it, it's shortened, right? The sound is shortened, it's contracted, you say kya. But when you write it, there is a tendency for us to write it so close to each other because we know it is single sound. But you don't treat it like one kana. They are still 2 separate kana, even if the second one is written in small font. So the one thing you have to remember is no matter how complex a character or how simple a character, the place that it occupies when you write or type is the same. For example, you have very easy, simple kanji, and then you have very complicated kanji with a lot of strokes. But it doesn't matter how many strokes any character has. It's only that imaginary box, that's the amount of space that you have for any character. So let me just type some characters to give you an example. For example, this is a very simple kanji. We have not come to kanji yet. Don't worry about meaning, reading, nothing. Just look at it. So this is a very simple kanji. Now I'll go for a slightly more, a kanji with more characters. This is another kanji. But you see that the space it occupies is the same, right? It's within that box that it is all there. And then some more complicated. Look at that. This is one kanji, this is one kanji. Together it makes a word. Don't worry about it. But if you look at it individually, no matter how complex, it still occupies that same amount of space. So here also, in this case, you have two boxes. Okay. Ki and the other one for ya. Now you will think that maybe you will have to write kya in the same box because it is one sound. That is not true. When you write it, you will still give it the necessary amount of space. So two characters, small or big, doesn't matter. So two boxes. So the first kana is written in the first box. And the second one that is in small, if you were to split this in quadrants, the ya will occupy this left corner of the next box. So you understand? This is just to give you an idea, just for information. So there's no need to write the small ya close to the previous kana. It still goes to the next. All right, so now let's look at some more sounds, right? So this is ki and a small ya. Here I think it's very obvious that it is small. So ki and a small ya, what is the sound that it gives?
Kya.
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 Okay, right. What does ki and a small u give?
Q.
You.
Q, right? This is a small u, so Q. But if the u was as big as ki, then what is the sound? Ki, u.
U.
What is the sound?
U.
U. You pronounce ki
U.
properly, you will pronounce u completely, properly. So that will give two sounds. Here it's one. Now ki and a small yo,
Q.
Q.
yo. Very
Yo.
good. Now let's look at the next one, right? You have she is the next sound. So we'll do this for all the E sounds. So we will be doing this for she, chi, ni, he, me, and re. One by one. Let's make sure we get the sounds right. She and a small ya, as you can see here, it is sha. Okay, here you will find that there's no additional y. The ya sound is not there. There's no
Why
need
is
for
it so? Why is it so? Why sha? Why not shya?
The reason is because this is she, right? And not C. See, if this was C, okay, if it was C, then it could have been sya, okay, no problem. But this is already a different sound,
Okay.
okay? So sha suffices. There's no reason to make it more complex by addition of shya because she is a different sound. And you will find the same for chi. You will find chi and a small ya as cha and
Okay.
not sha. There's no reason. So if you
Hmm.
do that for kya, if you remove the y in kya and simply say ka, you already have a ka, right? But since she and chi are different sounds already in those rows, they are different sounds, right? So therefore it's all right. There's no need to further complicate because sha doesn't
So-
exist.
So if we say matcha, then are we going to use this cha for matcha?
You're right, absolutely.
Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Hi, it is this cha that you will use. Hi. So now let's go to the sha line. We'll do that again. She and a small ya is simply sha. All right. What does she and a small u give you?
Shu.
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 Yes. What does she and a small u give you?
Sure.
Shu.
So remember that for she and chi with the small ya, u, there's no
Sha.
need for the ya sound. It's just sha, shu, sho. Similarly, chi and this is, chi and ya is
Cha.
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 What is this? Chi and a small u.
Chu.
Chu.
Chu. Chi and small yo.
Cho.
Cho. Right. Okay. So I'll keep saying this continuously just so it registers. All right. Now, next, ni. Ni, E sound, ni. Ni and small ya.
Nya.
Nya. Ni
Yeah.
and a small u. Hi.
New.
New.
Ni. Very good. Ni and a small yo.
New.
New.
Right. If you had ni and a ya as big as ni, what is that pronounced like?
Nia.
Niya.
Yeah.
Niya.
Yeah.
You don't contract the sound. You pronounce both, right? Niya.
Yeah.
But in this case, it is a small ya and therefore niya. Shorten it. He and a small ya.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He and a small u.
You.
Q. He and a small yo.
You.
Yo.
Yo. Okay. Me and a small ya.
Yeah.
Mya. Very good. Me and a small u.
Mew.
New.
Mew.
Mew. Okay. Me and a small yo.
Mew.
Mew.
Meow. Right. Meow. Okay. Next, finally, ri, small ya.
Yeah.
Ria. It's probably a
Yeah.
little bit difficult to
Ria.
pronounce, right? Ria. Yeah.
Ria.
Hi. Ri and a small u.
Ryu.
Ryu.
Ryu. Ryu. Hi.
Ryu.
Ri and a small yo.
Ryu.
Ryu.
Yo.
Rio.
Ryu.
Hi. Okay. Alright, so these are the two ways in which you will change the existing kana to give new sounds. Okay, luckily you don't have new sets of kana. Only the sounds are different. You make use of the existing 46 kana to give new sounds. All right. Any questions so far? Whatever you're doing to hiragana, this is all hiragana because we've only finished the hiragana script now, right? But whatever you do, all of these modified sounds 1 and 2, it's all applicable even when you write katakana. Okay, but we need to first see how to write katakana. So we'll go to that now. But so far, does anybody have any questions? You can ask me anything. I'm happy to repeat anything again. Please remember whatever questions you might have, someone else also will definitely have. There's definitely more than one person having the same doubt in the class.
So from
Okay,
what
so you're
you're
helping.
saying,
When you say that kana, open your kana textbook, or you say hiragana, it's one and the same thing, kana or hiragana.
I'm saying kana because the textbook includes both hiragana and katakana. You have two kana. You have hiragana, that's used for original Japanese words, and then you have katakana for foreign words. Right? Your kana workbook includes both hiragana and katakana. So then I just generally say kana.
Okay.
Hi. Yes.
Thank you.
so
Hi.
coming back to the script, from
Yes.
what I understand and from what you've been teaching us over the last 2 days, it seems like the first 46 are important to memorize and get because the others seem to be derivatives of them.
Correct. Yes.
So it would be
That's
important
correct.
to understand and remember the first 46 by heart so that you could write others.
Yes. You've said it. Correct. It's important to understand the 46 because those are new characters. And the rest of it that we have done, like you said, are derivatives. You take from what is existing and you create new sounds. It's more about understanding than learning with the modified sounds. You just have to understand how it works. But with the first 46, it's very important that we all practice. That's the goal the next 2 weeks, this week and the next. All right. Now we'll be going to katakana. So
One question, please.
yes,
What
please.
are
Let me-
contracted sounds?
Contracted is nothing. It's just to mean shortened. You're shortening the sound, right? Instead of saying ki and ya, you're saying kia. You're shortening the vowel. You're eliminating the e vowel in ki, and you're just combining it with ya, saying kya. That is
Okay.
contracted, shortening. Hi.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi. The terms themselves are not important. It's just to explain what is happening there. That's all. Hi. All right. So are we all ready for katakana?
Hi,
More kana.
excuse me, Sensei.
Hi.
Could you please, at least for me, is there some kind of a picture chart you have with the examples for each of the alphabets or sounds? Not
Examples,
the
you mean?
picture, not just the picture of the alphabet, like the way it's given in the textbook, but like how you say A for apple, B for ball.
Okay.
So something
You
like that,
mean,
if you could give the link or with the
okay.
picture of an example of an object, because personally for me, I'm struggling actually to remember the alphabets here.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. It takes time. It definitely takes time. It's like I said, it's a new language, so I'm sure everybody is struggling at the start. But yes, I'll keep what you said in mind. So you would like a word to represent each of the
Yes.
46,
Yes,
because
please.
I have a different kind of, I have a vocabulary chart prepared with pictures. And it's just vocabulary. It might not cover all of the 46. It might not,
Okay.
you might not have the word beginning with each of the 46. But I do intend to share that document with you. As for learning Kana, there's different ways that people do. Different ways work for different people. I used to personally keep writing them and learning them. There's another way, I will share that also. It's just a blank document where it's got boxes. And so the idea is I encourage you to start filling it up. Learn your Kana, and once you think you've learned it to some extent and you're able to recognize some of them, you can start practicing them, writing them on your own. And then what happens is there might be a blank. For instance, let me just show it to you here. So you have A, Ka, Sa, Ta, Na, and so on. And then here you have A, I, U, A, O. It's weird writing in English because it doesn't actually correspond to that sound, but you get the idea. A, I, U, A, O. So you have blanks like this. All right, for the rest of it as well. And then once, like I said, you have come to a certain, you can identify Kana to some degree, you can start filling up the blanks. So I'm sure everybody will remember the first Kana, right? And then you might struggle with the second, but you might remember a part of the third. You leave it like that. It's okay. Whatever you can remember, just fill it up to the best of your extent. You might have a lot of blank spaces. You might have a lot of wrong color. It doesn't matter. But what this does, it helps you get back to it and check yourself. And once you do, it registers better. You're correcting yourself. So, and it's very good practice. This is something that I encourage you to do. So I can attach this document to in your Google Classroom, so you can all have access to it and start trying. It's very simple. You can just draw it out in your paper in a paper or print the sheet and use it. Right? It's good practice. The other thing is people prepare flashcards, write each Kana on each card, and then just keep looking at it. And or they just draw up a chart and paste it on their walls and just keep reading it every day. For me personally, writing helps. I just keep writing everything. The more I write, I find that to be helpful to me. But you will discover what works for you slowly. You'll have to try all of it and see. But this is your second class. I'd say don't worry about it too much. Just make sure, like I said, to keep in touch with it regularly. All right. Give yourself that time. Be patient. Be kind to yourselves. All right. I will see.
Also, madam,
Hi.
how to write the la, li sound? Li.
You don't have those sounds. You don't have a la sound, li, lu, le, lo in Japanese, like I said earlier. So the Japanese will, so if you have an original Japanese word, it will not have any of those sounds. But of course, like I said, the Japanese do borrow sounds from foreign language. And there, if you have a la sound, they'll replace that with ra, ri, ru, re, ro, because that's the closest
Oh.
that they can associate the la sounds with. Okay. Again, don't worry about it, because once you start looking at words, all of this will become clear. Now our goal is to recognize as many Kana as possible. Just practice your Kana. All right. Now we'll go on to, we have about 15 minutes. Let's try to do as much katakana as we can. So here in katakana, you'll see the difference. You'll see how the strokes, like I said, are more sharp and, they are harsh, very angled. They are not curved at all. So let's look at the first one. So the sounds are the same. The basic sounds are the same. The modified sounds are all the same in katakana. The way you write them is different. The script is different. So what's the first one? A. So A goes like this. So you already see how sharp that is, right? And then the next stroke comes from where the previous one ends. Okay, although it comes from where the previous one ends, it is not one stroke, it is two stroke kana. So you stop there, you pause there. You come there and then you take your hands off, completion of one stroke, and then go back to it and then do the second one. So it is two. Here you will find that it doesn't really join, there is a gap here. It doesn't matter even if you make it touch a little, doesn't matter. Okay, that's 1 and 2.
I
The
have a
next,
doubt actually.
yes,
So if we take the word America, so we will be writing with the katakana instead of hiragana, right?
absolutely right. You're right. So the word America is a foreign word, right? So the Japanese call it America, America. Again, there's no ma sound. In English, you say America. There's no ma, right? You have ma, mi, m, me, a proper me. So it's America. Those are the sounds. Hi. So you will use this a. The next is E. Okay. So E is, they are both top to bottom strokes. Top to bottom and then another top to bottom. E. Okay. This is more a vertical stroke than horizontal. Top to bottom. And then top to bottom.
So if they ask us to write our names, then
Yes,
we'll go for katakana instead of hiragana.
that's right. You will write your names in katakana because ours is foreign to the Japanese.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll tell you a little bit more about how hiragana is used, giving you examples, how is katakana used, giving you examples in the next class on Friday. We would have done hiragana and katakana hopefully by then. And so I can proceed to words. So once we start looking at words, things will be clear. You start looking at grammar, you'll be able to identify more kana.
Okay.
Bit by
Arigatou
bit, by step. Hi. So this is E. For example, India in Japanese is Indo. It comes from the word India, but they've changed it. It's Indo. You can't say, but the name is India. How can you? The Japanese word for India, although borrowed, is Indo. So we'll stick to that. So it begins with this character, I, Indo, right? I. Next is U. So you'll see there's a top stroke that comes first, and then you go to the left, a similar kind of a vertical stroke. And then you have this. Okay. So once again, you have a top stroke and then a left stroke, and then you complete it like this. So although you'll find that the third stroke is, it comes this way and then it comes this way. Okay. This is treated as one single stroke, not, you don't stop. It's connected. Pull and bring down. Hi. The next is A. Now, A can be slightly confusing because it looks like a capital I. And so we might confuse the sounds, right? With this, we'll have to be careful. It's like a capital I, but what you can notice is the first horizontal line is slightly smaller, or rather the one at the bottom is a bit longer than the one on the top. So that is a small detail that we'll have to be careful about. So once again, horizontal, and from somewhere in the center, drop down and then finish. This is A.
I have one question.
Hi.
Like in English, we have small caps and large caps. In Japanese language, they do not have such things.
In Japanese language, you don't even have alphabets. The system is
They don't have?
entirely different. We don't have alphabets, we have sounds. Do you have
Sounds.
independent A, B, C, D? No. Instead, you have vowels and you have consonants with vowels. These are syllables. Ka, sa, chi. These are sounds. See, these are syllables. That's what I told you. The Japanese system is that of, it's a syllabary. English has alphabets. The way English and Japanese works, very, very different.
Okay.
Hi.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi. All right. So this is A. Next is O. So A, E, U, A, and finally you have O. So O, you have a horizontal line, and then vertical, and then to the left you have a stroke. Okay. Horizontal, vertical, and then a stroke to the left. O. A, E, U, A, O. All right. Next, what is the next series? By now, I'm sure you can all tell me
Ka.
readily.
Ka.
Ka, Ki,
Kiku, Keko.
Ku, Ke, Ko. Remember, in class right now, I don't expect all of you to remember right away. Whatever kana that we do, I'm telling you how you're supposed to write them. And you're all getting started on it in class. Because what's important is you practice on later on. So don't get, I'm sure it's all overwhelming, too many characters. But if you think about it, it's only 46 plus another 46. And like I said, in our Indian languages, we have so many. And if we can master them, I'm sure, I'm confident that you'll find all of this easy. Give yourself some time and lots of practice. All right. Right now, you're only trying to understand how the characters are. You're trying to practice them to see that you're able to get it right. That's all. Memorizing will happen slowly. Okay, don't worry about, oh, so many, how can I memorize? Like I said, give yourself some time. Ka. So let's see how to write ka. That's one. So this is very similar to your hiragana ka. If you're having your workbooks open, you can see them
Yes.
side by side, right? On the left, you have the hiragana version of the same sound. On the right, you probably have the katakana version. So you can see how they are similar. But you'll find that in hiragana, it's more curvy, and then you have an additional third stroke, a long stroke that comes on the side. In this, all of those extra dot-like strokes are mostly absent. Okay?
Yes.
Here it's more high, sharp. All right, so this is ka. So next kana is ki. Ki, once again, if you see, similar to hiragana. Okay, it's more vertical than horizontal in this case. You can compare. If you have the workbook, you'll be able to easily compare and see. And again, once again, the bottom stroke that you have in hiragana is
Yes.
missing. And another important difference is, here I told you that this is a long stroke and this is a short stroke, right? In katakana, you'll find it's the opposite. The first one is short and this is
Long.
long. Okay, so once again, 1, 2, and 3. Ki. The next kana is ku. So 1, 2. All right, there are only 2 strokes. This is sort of connected, comes down together. So it's 1 and ku. Remember, this is sort of narrow, okay? Initially, you'll have to be very cognizant of the gap between the strokes to some degree. That's where the dotted lines help, okay? So if you do this, then it's not quite, it's not too, it has to be narrow, right? Small gap, not too wide a gap. Okay, this is k. The reason I say is you have something similar like this with wide gaps, and that's a different kana. You'll see that later. What is the next kana? After k comes
K.
K. Right, K. So K has 3 strokes. It's like this. You have one like that. Somewhere in the middle of this, you have a horizontal line. And from somewhere in the middle of that, you have another vertical stroke. I say somewhere in the middle, right? So once again, 1, 2, and 3. Okay,
Kritika-san, I have one question.
yes.
Like, it's just for my personal learning. Like, it's too overwhelming to learn 2 scripts simultaneously. So, will it be okay if we first focus only on hiragana? And once we are well versed with it, and then we can skip to, we can jump on to katakana?
Like I said, again, that depends on how it works for each one of us. I would say it's up to you. But what I see is when people do that, again, katakana takes a backseat. So they end up ignoring it because you also don't see it so often. In a sentence, you probably see 1 word of katakana. So in a whole page, you probably have 3 and the rest is hiragana. So I don't want that. So I'm afraid that will end up happening. But what you can do is start off with hiragana. I would definitely say a little more importance to hiragana because that's what you immediately need for the next class and so on. But you'll have an idea. Once you think you're getting a hang of it, once you think you're able to recognize fairly decent amount of kana in hiragana, I'd say start with katakana immediately.
Okay.
Don't wait until you're well versed. That is scary because we don't know when that will happen.
Okay. Arigatou
Alright.
gozaimasu.
Hi. So this is K. Next we'll go to Ko. 1 and left to right. Okay. 1 and 2. So here I know we'll all be tempted to do this as a single stroke and do 1, 2, 3, but that's wrong because here you're doing this and that's wrong. So this is split 2 strokes, 1, that's left to right, top to bottom is 1 whole stroke. And then you go from left to right to finish it. So that's the second. All right, that's Ko. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. So we will stop with this. We haven't done a lot. We'll continue with katakana in our next class with the rest of the katakana. Okay. So we've done all of hiragana characters. We've done a few katakana characters, kana. They're not alphabets. Okay. So make sure you practice them. Start until Friday. That is, you have 1 day tomorrow. So start practicing them whenever you find the time. Just sit with it for a
Homework?
few. Homework, I'm not giving you any for now because I'm sure you'll all be busy practicing. That is homework.
Okay.
There's always homework whether I give you one or not.
Okay.
Right? Now, homework is always to go over to review what was done in class.
Okay.
All right. I did intend to give you some words to write on your own. Would you like me to give you 5 words to write on your own
Okay.
in hiragana? I'll put
Yes.
them in chat. So maybe that will give you a good something to work towards, I suppose. Hi. So I'm going to type in English. Okay. And I will use hyphen between syllables. Okay.
Okay.
So you understand initially. That's the first word. It is actually together, it is watashi. But I'm telling you how to split it. All right. So what is the first word? Can I have everybody read it, please?
Watashi.
Watashi.
Hi,
Watashi.
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 What does it
Watashi.
mean?
Hi.
Watashi.
It means I, but I'll give you the meanings. We'll discuss the meanings on Friday.
Okay.
Now, I
Watashi
would
wa.
like you all to focus on writing the kana together to put it in one word. Next, what is that?
Anata.
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 Anatta.
Anata. You.
Anatta, you, right? Okay, let me. Watashi is I, anatta is you. I'll go over the meanings again later. If you can remember them, please do.
Watashi wa.
We have to write down in hiragana.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Take down
Itsuma.
the words and I'll give you the instructions. Hi.
Itsuma.
Atsumo. Itsumo.
Itsumo.
Sumo.
Again.
Itsumo.
Hi.
Itsumo.
Itsumo. Not I, I. Right? I.
Mm.
Itsumo.
Itsumo.
What is
Genki.
that? Hi.
Gen-
Genki.
Genki.
Right. Genki. Genki.
Genki.
Genki. Okay. Next.
Ichiban.
Ichiban.
Right.
Ichi-
Ichiban. Okay.
Ichiban.
Okay. Last word.
Oganku.
Ongaku.
Ongaku. Okay.
Ongaku.
Pronounce all of it. Ongaku. So today it's ongaku. These are
Ongaku.
all one word. This is one word, and so you pronounce them together. The reason I'm giving hyphen is so
Ongaku.
you can understand what a syllable is. Ongak. One
Onga.
more word because I thought of it just
Onga.
now. Hi. I will ask you first before I tell you how to split it. I'm sending the word now. How will you split this word into syllables? How many sounds does this have, and what are the sounds?
What syllables?
Three.
Three.
Onna. Three sound.
Fantastic. O, in, na. So
Na.
three sounds, right? On.
Na.
So these are all the words I'd like you to focus on. So watashi, anata, itsumo, genki,
Genki.
ichiban,
Ichiban.
ongaku,
Ongaku.
Onna.
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 Okay. Now these are, since we've only done hiragana, you're all supposed to write these words in hiragana. What does that mean? These are all original Japanese
Original
words.
Japanese words.
None of them are borrowed words.
Borrowed words.
Right? Yes, these are all original Japanese words. You'll write them in hiragana. So practice the pronunciation also, and we'll discuss them in the next class.
Okay.
Hi. All right. Any
Kritika-san,
questions?
one question, please.
Hi. Hi.
Whenever we enter the store in Japan, they say something like "yassemasu." What does it mean?
It's irashaimase. Irashaimase is welcome.
Oh,
Hi.
okay. Arigatou gozaimasu. Irashaimase.
Hi. 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 You'll see all of it in this course. Don't worry.
Okay.
Hi. So I'll see you all on Friday. If anybody has any questions, please stay back. But officially, we'll wind up for today. Hi. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Arigatou
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi. Arigatou gozaimasu. Anybody with questions, please stay back and you can
Hi.
ask me. Hi. Yes, Anusha.
Hi, Kritika. Do we actually cover this whole book? Like, I'm actually struggling with the alphabets, and I'm wondering, will we be
You're
able
only at
to?
the beginning of the course, so don't worry about it at all.
Okay.
Like I said, give yourself time. this is how it is for all of us, right? We take a lot of time initially, but I've seen so many batch after batch students do it. So why
And
can't you?
do you
I'm
have
sure you
some
can.
tips for adult learners to succeed at this? Like other than practice and is there some way? Like,
It's just what anybody would do. It's there's nothing specific really for adult learners. It's just you come to class and we do this. It's step by step. We'll take it very slowly. Although it might seem like a lot, I understand it's
Okay.
a completely different script, but obviously we factor in all of that
Ask her to
and we
ask her for
do
that sheet,
what is possible only.
practice sheet on the
All
back.
right.
okay. Could you please share with us the practice sheet you
I will
mentioned
do
with the
that.
grid?
I
Okay.
will do that.
And
I
you
will
were,
send
when
it
you
to you.
were explaining when I asked you earlier, you were saying you also have some kind of a word chart.
Yes, I do
Could
have a
you please
document with
share that on?
vocabulary. It's just to get you started with basic words in Japanese.
Okay.
Okay, we will see them over a period of 3 months during this course, but I thought if I send it to you ahead, you can all get started on learning words. Whenever you find the time, maybe prepare flashcards for yourselves and keep looking at them and also remember as many words as possible because it's all part of the
Okay.
course. All right,
Okay.
don't worry about this. I know 2 scripts. In fact, it's going to become 3, not to scare you, but you also have
Okay.
kanji later on. That's the thing. It's practice is important. Just go back, whatever we've done today, make sure you go back home. After outside of class, you put in the time necessary to study and it will get easier slowly. The best way to feel like you're not lagging behind is to make sure you put some work before class. Okay, go over the class, review what we have done in the class at home and come back, and then you'll feel like it's not completely new. Because this is a different language, you'll find grammar is also very different to what we've done. But that's the best part of it. You'll get an insight into the Japanese culture through the language. So you're not only learning the language. So it gets very exciting.
Yeah.
Take some
Arigato
time.
gozaimasu.
Hey, take your time and keep practicing, keep at it. The more you keep looking at it, I'll give you reading practice. I'll make all of you read in class. It doesn't mean that I want you to read perfectly without flaws. You'll make mistakes. I'll help you. Half the time, I'm the one reading when I ask students to read because they struggle. You don't know what is that kanji sensei, please tell me. And I'll tell them. That's how it is. So don't worry about it, one step at a time.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Arigatou gozaimashita.
ありがとうございます。Thank you.
Hi, arigatou gozaimasu.